12 o'clock. There is the midday news. First, the top stories. Ogun selected for pilot project on water sanitation and hygiene. Ondo set to introduce fees in the state's public secondary schools. Nigeria records average of 200,000 cases of stroke yearly. Troops repel fresh Boko Haram attack in Yobe State. In foreign, top Somali security chiefs fired after deadly explosions in Mogadishu. Separated India's twin opens eyes 4 days after surgery. Good afternoon. I am Chienye Egwuonwu, bringing you the news in details shortly. Ogun State has been selected for the implementation of a pilot project for water sanitation and hygiene. Projects to be executed under the program include the construction of boreholes and toilets to reach the state of open defecation by year 2030. Ogun State was picked along with Kano State for the expanded program on water sanitation and hygiene. The State Water Resources and Rural Development Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Reverend Billy, made this known to a committee on water resources, energy and rural development of the State House of Assembly, which is monitoring the implementation of the state's 2017 budget.
Often facing as what happened for the seed to 2030, one will consolidate that program is laid out. I think it's the simplest of the thing to be in that kind of. So
The Permanent Secretary explains that the State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency will be in charge of the project, which aims at promoting environmental sanitation and personal hygiene in the state. Ogun State government has asked the chairman of local government and local council development areas in the state to make judicious use of their allocation from the federation account. Also, the internally generated revenue should be for projects that will promote socio-economic development in the areas. Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs Commissioner Chief Jide Ojukwu, who gave the advice during his tour to the local council development areas in Ogun East Senatorial District, asked the council chairman to ensure the provision of basic amenities for the people. Ojukwu explains that despite the paucity of funds, Amoso administration is still augmenting the monthly allocation of the 57 local governments and local council development areas from the federation account to enable them pay salaries. Top leaders of APC, including President Muhammadu Buhari, are converging today in Abuja for the long-awaited meeting of the party's national caucus. Apart from Buhari, top leaders expected at the meeting include Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, as well as APC state governors, Senate President, and House of Representatives Speaker. Today's meeting will pave the way for the meeting of the National Executive Council on Tuesday, also in Abuja. A few days ago, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, had expressed concern over the non-holding of meetings of the party's top leaders, warning that time is running out for APC to put its house in order ahead of the 2019 polls. Ondo State government is set to introduce tuition fee in its secondary schools. The decision, which is still subject to the approval of the State Executive Council, is part of the recommendations of the State Economic Summit, which met last week in Akure. Stakeholders of the summit recommend that the state government should continue providing free education in public primary schools, but parents, according to the summit, should be responsible for the funding of education at secondary school level, while fees payable at the state's higher institution of learning should undergo a review in line with economic realities. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, while declaring the summit open, had promised to implement all its recommendations. An estimated 200,000 persons are suffering from stroke every year in Nigeria. Nigeria Stroke Organization made this known at a news conference in Abuja to mark the 2017 World Stroke Day. The organization's president, Professor Yemi Ogun, says that stroke is responsible for 8 out of every 10 neurological cases admitted into hospitals in Nigeria. He expresses concern that the disease is on the rise in Nigeria and other developing nations. A 100-level microbiology student of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, has committed suicide. The student, Mercy Apolaromi, was found dead in her room in a hostel located outside the university. Sources say she killed herself with battery extract and a mixture of rat poison. The university's branch of the Nigerian Association of Microbiology Students had expressed shock over the incident. The association's branch spokesman, Juduyemi Paul, in a statement, says the cause of the death is not yet known and that police are already investigating it. The car that plunged into the Lagos Lagoon on Saturday night has been recovered by emergency workers. Found dead in the Ford Explorer Sport Utility van near the University of Lagos waterfront was a retired Air Force Air Vice Marshal and his driver. The bodies were recovered by 2:30 a.m. by workers of Lagos State Emergency Management Agency (LASEMA) and local divers, who began the search immediately after the vehicle plunged into the lagoon a little after 10 p.m. on Friday. General Manager of LASEMA, Additional Tiamiu, confirmed the rescue of the vehicle and its occupants from the waters of the lagoon. The late Air Force General was driving towards Lagos Island when his vehicle collided with another and crashed into the lagoon. Fighters of Boko Haram sect have launched a fresh attack on a community in Yobe State 4 days after they temporarily overran an army base near Damaturu, the state capital. The last Tuesday's invasion of Sassawa by Boko Haram fighters, which was later repelled, had caused panic in the state, which had enjoyed a relative peace for more than a year. In the latest attack last Saturday, the terrorists attempted the capture of Guneri in the Gubjar local government area, but met a superior firepower from security forces. Spokesman of the tactical headquarters of the Army 3rd Division in Damaturu, Colonel Kayode Ogunsoya, says troops had repelled the attacks of the insurgents. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business and sports news. Please do stay with us. In foreign, the Somali government has fired two top security officials after twin blasts and a siege left at least 27 people dead on Saturday. They came just 2 weeks after at least 358 people died in another attack, one of the deadliest ever to hit Mogadishu. Police Chief Abdihakim Dahir Said and the Director of National Intelligence Abdullahi Mohammed were both removed from office after an emergency cabinet meeting. The Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab says it carried out Saturday's bombings. Police say 3 militants were captured alive and 2 others blew themselves up during the attack. Severe storms have brought heavy rain and a spectacle of lightning to Australia's Queensland, with lightning bolts ripping across the night skies for hours. There were over 176,000 lightning strikes overnight, with more expected on Monday. Queensland Bureau of Meteorology has warned of more severe thunderstorms, damaging winds and large hailstones. The storm damaged a number of houses and left thousands without power. The turbulent weather had photographers and storm chasers glued to the skies, with many capturing stunning shots of the lightning strikes. One of the twin boys who were conjoined at the head has opened his eyes 4 days after a historic surgery to separate them in India. 2-year-old Jagar has also responded to simple commands, including moving his limbs. He is on a ventilator and needs daily dialysis due to kidney problems. His brother, Kalia, is not yet conscious and had suffered seizures. The boys were born with shared blood vessels and brain tissues, and a 16-hour surgery separated them. A team of 30 doctors carried out the operation, the first of its kind in India, at a state-run hospital in the capital, Delhi. The first surgery was performed on 28 August when the doctors created a bypass to separate the shared veins that return blood to the heart from the brain. Now in business, the board of Ashika Sem plc Gombe has approved the exchange of shares held by minority shareholders for shares in Lafarge Africa, the majority shareholder. Acting chairman of the board of Ashika Sem, Mrs. Edith Omuchekwa, announced the approval at the extraordinary general meeting held in Abuja. Under the arrangement, minority shareholders will receive 57 Lafarge Africa shares for every 202 Ashika-Sem shares. The new share structure will make Ashika-Sem a fully owned subsidiary of Lafarge Africa and offer its shareholders the window to liquidate their investments following the delisting of Den Cement Maker from the trading floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange in July 2017. The chief financial officer of Lafarge Africa, Bruno Baye, explains that the minority shareholders of Ashika now have the opportunity to be part of Lafarge Africa with total installed production capacity of over 14 million metric tons of cement per annum and strong growth prospects. Finally, sports news. Serbia are reportedly interested in playing a friendly with Nigeria ahead of the World Cup. Both nations secured qualification for the tournament earlier this month. The president of the Serbia-Nigeria Chamber of Commerce, Temi Gold, says that Serbian representatives have reached out to the Nigerian Football Federation. The teams have met in just one prior match, a pre-World Cup friendly in 1998 in Belgrade, which was won 3-0 by the hosts who were then known as Yugoslavia. Saudi Arabia will allow women to attend sports events in stadiums for the first time from next year. Families will be able to enter the stadiums in 3 major cities, Riyadh, Jeddah, and Dammam. It's another move towards giving more freedom to Saudi women who face strict gender segregation rules and follows the historic lifting of a driving ban. Saudi Arabia's sports authority said that preparations will start in the free stadiums so they can be ready to accommodate families from early 2018. Restaurants, cafes, and monitor screens will be set up inside the stadiums as part of the changes, it added. That was the midday news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Ogun selected for pilot project on water sanitation and hygiene. Ondo set to introduce fees in the state's public secondary schools. Nigeria recorded average of 200,000 cases of stroke yearly. Troops repelled fresh Boko Haram attack in Yobe State. While in foreign, we also reported that top Somali security chiefs fired after deadly explosions in Mogadishu, and separated India's twin opened eyes 4 days after surgery. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Chienye. Good afternoon and do have a lovely day.